Today we will look at the 10 most rare punishments during the Wild Wild West. Vigilante justice system. First and foremost, the vigilante justice system takes the lead. Since there were no established law enforcement agencies, many towns in the frontier relied on this system to maintain order. It operated as an informal arrangement, where groups of citizens, commonly known as vigilance committees, would be the head of the laws and rules. In their supervision, accused individuals would be apprehended, tried, and penalized, that too without any legal proceedings. Due to this, the punishments handed out were extremely harsh, accompanied by public shame, brutal beatings, and lynching. We all collectively think of this system as the most awful part of the American history. However, opinions regarding vigilante justice varied, with some seeing it as a necessary response to the lawlessness of the frontier, a means of maintaining peace in the absence of proper institutions. On the other hand, others regarded it as ruthless, as innocent individuals sometimes became entangled in violence and mass hysteria. No matter what one's perspective was, there's no denying that this justice system was one of the most brutal parts of American history. We will tell you more about this dark phase of American history, but before we continue any further, make sure to give this video a huge thumbs up, subscribe to our channel, and hit the notification bell to get more video updates like this. Now let's continue. Branding. Number 2 on our list is branding, a punishment associated with cattle but commonly used in the Wild West. For this punishment, a metal iron rod was heated and it was used against the convicted individual's flesh, leaving a permanent scar that marked them as a criminal. Branding was used for thieves, with the location of the brand symbolizing the crime committed. The idea behind the branding was to deter potential criminals and detected offenders easily. However, the process was painful and carried the risk of infection and other complexities. Moreover, there was a lot of stigma associated with this punishment, which made it really difficult for the convicted individuals to become a part of the society, even if they were truly sorry for their crimes. Branding was not limited to men. Women accused of adultery or other crimes of passion were also subjected to this brutal punishment. Tar and feathering. Number 3 is tar and feathering, a dehumanizing punishment used in the Wild West. In this punishment, the accused were stripped and covered in hot tar, and were then rolled in feathers, which caused extreme levels of pain and discomfort. Not only that, the victim would be paraded through the streets so they could become a spectacle of public humiliation. Tar and feathering dates back centuries, and was brought to the American colonies before being employed during the Wild West era, to enforce social norms and punish those deemed morally or socially corrupt. Whipping. Whipping takes the 4th spot on our list. It was a common punishment during the Wild West, where towns often had designated whippers responsible for giving the punishment. The offender would be tied to a post or tree and publicly flogged with a whip or lash. This punishment was often used for serious crimes as a way to enforce discipline within a community. Whipping aimed to prevent future criminal activity and was often done in front of the whole town to further humiliate the accused. The physical and psychological pain, as well as public shaming, made it difficult for the punished individuals to rejoin the society, as they were often seen as outcasts who couldn't escape their criminal past. Stocks and pillory. The stocks and pillory were 2 interrelated methods of punishment employed during the lawless era of the Wild West. These devices were designed to restrain the accused, leaving them vulnerable and exposed to public humiliation. The stock consisted of a wooden frame with openings for the individual's feet, while the pillory held their head and hands in position. Once secured, the convicted person would be left in these contraptions for a predetermined duration, which could range from several hours to even days, depending on the seriousness of their offense. The main objective of using the stocks and pillory was to shame the accused, intensifying their status as social outcasts and discouraging others from engaging in similar misconduct. People passing by were often encouraged to mock or even physically mistreat the individual, further heightening the humiliation and discomfort of the punishment. A notable and well-documented case of the use of stocks and pillory in the Wild West occurred in 1850 in Sacramento, California. James Wilson, who had been accused of theft, was sentenced to spend 1 hour in the pillory. During this time, he endured the pelting of rotten fruits and vegetables by the crowd, which added to the humiliation of his already degrading punishment. Ear cropping. Ear cropping involved the removal of a portion of the accused's ear, often performed in a public setting. This act of mutilation served as a visible and lasting reminder of the individual's past crimes, posing challenges for their reintegration into society and escaping the associated stigma. The practice of ear cropping has its roots dating back centuries, with documented instances in Europe and the American colonies. It was later adopted as a form of punishment in the Wild West, primarily reserved for those accused of theft or other property-related offenses. The belief was that the noticeable disfigurement would discourage others from engaging in similar activities. Dunking stool. The dunking stool involves suspending the accused individual over a body of water while they were seated on a stool. The person would then be repeatedly submerged into the water, typically in the presence of a mocking crowd. This form of punishment was given to those accused of slander, gossip, or other crimes perceived as disruptive to the community's social order. The use of a dunking stool can be traced back to medieval Europe, where it was frequently used as a means of punishing women known as scolds, who were deemed too argumentative. Over time, this practice was adopted in the American colonies and later in the Wild West as a method to enforce social norms and maintain order in a place where there was no formal law enforcement body. Public shaming. The eighth punishment on our list is public shaming. Public shaming was a prevalent method of punishment during the lawless era of the Wild West and was often combined with other forms of penalties such as whipping, branding, or the use of stocks and pillories. The primary objective of public shaming was to humiliate the accused and reinforce their status as social outcasts, thereby discouraging others from committing the same crimes. Public shaming could manifest in various ways, including parading the accused through the streets or compelling them to wear signs that detailed their crimes. Another form of public humiliation involved shaving their heads, serving as a visible marker of their wrongdoing. In some instances, the accused were even coerced into performing degrading tasks in public, further increasing their sense of shame and humiliation. Riding the rail. Number 9 is riding the rail. It entailed forcing the accused to straddle a wooden rail, often with their hands and feet bound. Several men would lift the rail, carrying the accused through the street as a means of public humiliation. In some cases, the individual would be coated in tar and feathers or subjected to other forms of abuse during the punishment. The purpose of the punishment was to shame the accused and serve as a deterrent for others thinking of doing similar activities. The public nature of the punishment, combined with the physical discomfort experienced by the individual, made it a compelling tool for maintaining social order at a time when the whole West was truly living in the wild. Banishment. Lastly, number 10 on this list is banishment. Banishment was an additional method of punishment used during the Wild West era, particularly in smaller communities, where there were not enough resources and social unity was significant. This punishment entailed forcibly expelling an individual from a community and threatening them to never return, otherwise they would be killed. An incident of banishment in the Wild West took place in 1864 in the mining town of Virginia City, Montana. Jack Slade, known for his violent and disorderly behavior, was banished from the town. However, Slade didn't follow the order and returned to Virginia City, and he was ultimately captured, beaten, and publicly hanged by the vigilantes. As the Wild West era came to a halt, more formal systems of justice were established, and banishment as a form of punishment became less prevalent. Nonetheless, the practice remains symbolic of the harsh and ruthless nature of the justice systems of that era, serving as a testament that some people could go to any level to bring order to a community. That's it for today. Thank you for watching.